we're going to start the webinar now. We're going to record. All right. And we are on. The webinar is now streaming live on YouTube. I'm going to put the link in here. Let's wait for loading up the attendees. They're coming in. And then we can start. Welcome, everyone, as we load in. Give us a minute. We are so happy that you're here with us. So I'm going to put the link, the Facebook link in the chat for everyone to see, that you can share with other people in case they cannot join into the Zoom. It's also going to be on our Facebook page. And once everyone comes in, give us a second and we can get started. Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We are grateful that you've made the time to join us tonight. Our very last mobilizing meeting for behind the Harris-Walz ticket to ensure that this team is elected into the White House, not just for their sake, obviously, but for ours, to protect our democracy, protect our rights, protect our, whether it's voting rights, our rights to our bodies, and our rights to just be ourselves without fear of others disapproving and taking certain steps to harm us. So we have a fantastic lineup tonight. And I am so thrilled, I am so excited, and I'm so grateful that the list of people we have to come tonight agreed to join us on our last and final call, organizing for the Harris-Walz ticket so that we can be protected. I'm really thrilled. Every single one of these people have amazing stories, have done amazing things, have been the first, or one of the first, has a background that speaks to everything that we're fighting for right now. Tonight, we have Congressman Jimmy Raskin. We have Congressman Gabe Amo, who is the first Black and African to be elected to represent Rhode Island in the House. And we have Representative Jonathan Jackson. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the son of the great Jesse Jackson.
Yes.
Yes, sir. And we have my own Representative Delegate Janelle Wilkins, and Jimmy Raskin is also my representative in Congress. But in the General Assembly, Delegate Janelle Wilkins, she was one of the first Black women to represent Montgomery County in the Maryland State delegation. And she is the chair of the largest Black caucus in the country. So we are surrounded tonight by some wonderful people who have done so much work in this environment, and I'm excited. So we usually go through a long line of things, but tonight, our guests have other commitments, some of them, and as a result, we're going a little bit out of order again. Dr. Bull, I'm so sorry that I'm switching you out again, but to make sure that our guests are able to some of our guests are able to address us and answer some questions and go to the next thing, I would beg your pardon, Dr. Bull, and skip you again. So on that note, Delegate Wilkins has to leave by 9 p.m. and we want to give her an opportunity so she can speak to us. And if we have any questions, so she can answer the questions, and for us to move on. Representative Amo, are you good with Delegate Wilkins going first?
Yep, go for it.
Perfect. All right. So I started off saying a little bit, but we are so proud of having Delegate Wilkins to represent us and all the work she has done. I think she was, at the time, the youngest, right? The youngest at the time to represent us in the General Assembly. And she has grown and just kept going up and up and up. And now she's the chair of the largest Black caucus in the country. Delegate Wilkins, welcome. Her heritage is Jamaican. So she is our fellow Black immigrant, and she represents us very well. Delegate Wilkins.
Thank you so much, Fatmata. Thank you for all of your leadership in the community and for the invitation tonight. I just wanted to double check because I do see Congressman Raskin on and just wanted to make sure I would never want to jump in front of him. So I want to make sure that he doesn't want to go first. He's good to go.
Well, hey, Janelle, it's great to be with you and Fatmata and everybody. I'm still in the car, and so I look kind of dark and in the shadows here, and it's a little spooky, I think. So I thought I would get home, and then I'll call in and I'll wait my turn. I want to hear all these great leaders speak.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Congressman, and thank you again to Fatmata. I am really excited to be here tonight. There's so much energy and so much joy in this campaign for Kamala Harris. Look at all that we have done in just 3 months. Can you believe that in 3 months, we have collectively worked together to launch a national campaign, an effective campaign, and a campaign that is poised to win? But that is what happens when we fight, when we work together, and when we have a shared vision. So it's an exciting time. But we have so much more work to do and so much at stake for the future of our country. Again, I'm Delegate Janelle Wilkins, and I do represent Silver Spring and Tacoma Park in Montgomery County, Maryland. And I am the first Black woman ever elected to my district. I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, and moved to the United States when I was just 5 years old. And my story and my family's story just shows who America is, that my family was once undocumented in this country, and I now serve as an elected official here in the state of Maryland, actually helping to craft our election laws and voting rights laws. That is the story of America. It's also mirrors the story of Kamala Harris and her family, the woman that we are fighting for to be our next president. And so as we think about elections, it's really about electing the people who are going to fight for us. And she is that person, and we have to ensure that we get that message across. I think that with just being less than a week out from the election, there's 3 things that all of us need to make sure that we do. The first thing, because we are going to be action oriented, is to ask ourselves, what more can I do? Have I signed up to volunteer at a poll on election day? Can I be an election judge? Right now, I know in Maryland, we have early voting. Whenever I have a couple hours free on my schedule, I go to an early voting site and volunteer and hand out information around Kamala Harris and Angela Alsobrooks. What more can I do? I've knocked on doors in Pennsylvania, and I'm going to do my best to get back over to Pennsylvania if I can. Where is there a battleground state, if you're not in the state of Maryland, that you are able to get to and knock on some additional doors? So when we wake up next Wednesday, 1 week from now, We want to know that we left it all on the field. We did everything that we could. We want to know that when the polls close on Tuesday night, that we've left it all on the field. So the first action item I have for everyone is to ask yourselves right now, what more can I do, and make a plan to get that done. The other thing is, let's make sure that we're having the conversations in our chats. Let's not assume that anyone has voted unless that person, that friend, that family member tells us that they voted. Let's not assume. So every conversation that you're having with someone, your posts on social media, all of those things, have you voted yet? Do you have a plan to vote? Just last week, I was getting routine service done on my car. And as I was saying bye to the gentleman, I said to him, "Oh, have you voted yet?" And he said, "Oh, no." He made a face. He's like, "No, I don't really do that." I said, "Oh, wait a minute." And so we had this long conversation about him not trusting, not knowing the candidates, not knowing who to vote for. And even in this time, he did not see a big difference between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And being able to have that conversation with him about policy and why this is important and why he needs to vote, and getting him that information. So even in the conversations we're having with people who we may not know, asking those questions gives us an opportunity to have the conversation with people. So friends, family, strangers, anyone that we're interacting with, every single person matters. The third action item that I want to make sure I leave with is combating misinformation and disinformation. There are purposeful efforts out there to sow doubt in the election, purposeful efforts to have lies and even sexism and racism when it comes to our candidates. This is all over social media. Sometimes we see it in our WhatsApp, we see it in memes, and all over. And we have to be vigilant and work to correct the record every single time that we can. So keeping our eyes peeled around mis and disinformation in this election. It could also be things that we see with incorrect information about the voting place, the voting time, voting rights, and the manner of how our elections are conducted as well, that we have to be out there making sure that we're correcting that. So keeping our eyes peeled. So those are three action items that I think are so important for us as we are less than a week out from the election. We have so much work to do. Last, I want to make sure that I mention Angela Alsobrooks, who needs our continued support. When we will win the presidency, but when we do that, we have to make sure that we have Congress so that all of our important bills pass. I don't know if you're hearing it from frustrated voters, but people will say, "Well, I voted last time and nothing happened. Congress isn't doing anything. They're not getting anything done." We do have to have the numbers to make sure that we have the House and we have the Senate to get our bills passed, or that compromises can be made and efforts can be made to get the bills done that Kamala Harris is pushing, the ideas that she's pushing. The future of our country also depends on us having the House and the Senate. And Angela Alsobrooks would be key to that. I see some of you here who've attended fundraisers, who've hosted fundraisers and worked so hard for her campaign. We have to keep that up. So let's continue that support. I see Ike, I see you here, and appreciate you hosting recently. And I know that there's so many others who've been working hard for Angela Alsobrooks and with Kamala Harris. So with all of that said, we have a lot of work to do. We have energy, we have the excitement, we have the joy. We are on the right side of history, but we have to keep up the pressure, keep up the work to get it done. I hope these specific action items will be helpful to us in the next couple of days of the election. So thank you for all your organizing. The diaspora matters in this race, the big part of why we're here and how we've built over 3 months a really effective campaign. We can't get this done without you, and let's finish what we started. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Delegate Wilkins. Thank you very, very much. I'm looking for questions in the chat, in the Q&A. I don't see any questions in the Q&A. Does any member of the planning committee have any questions for the delegate?
I do.
Okay.
Well, obviously, just want to thank her, obviously, for taking time out of her busy schedule to join us, and obviously to support the candidacy of Harris-Walz as well as also Brooke. And we're all grateful to be here and to be part of this great occasion.
So I
Absolutely.
have a question. What do you say to people? Because we know what Maryland has done. We elected Hogan twice. And you still have people who say, well, he's nice. He's not as bad as Trump. He was a good governor. You still have members of the diaspora. You see them posting online how much they love him and so on and so forth. And he is going to do all these fantastic things for us as diasporans. What do you say to people like that, if anything at all?
That is a great question. We definitely deal with that. As a member who was in the legislature when Governor Hogan was our governor, I definitely know well the real Hogan. And I think that one thing I stay away from is arguing with people whether he's a good guy or not a good guy. People have just decided in general that they think that he is a good guy, good people, and that they like him. Instead, what I focus in on is he's not running for governor. He's running for the U.S. Senate. And when we are talking about issues that we care about, whether it's public education, whether it is issues around women's health, like maternal health, and Black women's health, whether it is issues that really affect our communities around the Affordable Care Act, which the other side has tried to repeal so many times. I remind people, do you believe that he is going to vote with the Democrats or with the Republicans? I remind people that he is a Republican, and he has said that he's going to caucus with the Republicans, and that we have to ensure that we have the Senate in order to get things done. So I think I've found that when we help people to understand that this is a different role, that he's running for the Senate, that we need to get bills passed, and that he has publicly said that he will caucus with the Republicans, that the reception and the understanding of why we can't let that happen is better. And, you can think that he's a great guy, but he's not a great guy for this role. He's running for U.S. Senate now.
All right.
Definitely a good one. Definitely a good one.
Okay, then. So I still don't see any questions in the Q&A. So everybody good? Nobody has any questions for the delegate? All right. We want to thank you so very much and making the time to join us. And I know you have things to do, but you're welcome to stay for a few minutes if you want to, just in case people think of any questions that they may want to ask, or, if you hear anything anyone is saying and it kind of light bulb, you can jump in there. So.
Absolutely. I'll stay on to listen in for a little while. And thank you again for having me. Thank you for your hard work. And I'm excited about working together to finish strong.
Fantastic. All right, Fuad.
Yes, obviously, good evening, everyone. And thank you, obviously, to the membership here, as well as everyone that has signed on a busy Wednesday night. We've done this since July. It's a pleasure that we've been able to collectively participate since July to get out the vote and support the ticket for Harris-Walz, and obviously down ballot on the Maryland level and the Democrats. It's a pleasure tonight to obviously introduce Congressman Gabe Amill. He is from the great state of Rhode Island. We were lucky he was with us on our inaugural night, and he's with us on our closing night for the last time. I know he's running next week, and I know he's going to win. Everyone, we are grateful for the great congressman to be with us. Brother, thank you so much for being with us tonight. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, thank you, Dr. Sharif. Thank you, Fatmata. Thank you to all the organizers who are on this call, and I don't know about you, but I am energized. I have not been able to sleep. I feel the energy, the power of people from across the country who are mobilizing, much like this call has since the starting gun, to be ready to make sure that we have the outcome that we're seeking next Tuesday night or whenever it's sorted. We should set that expectation. But it is really important that folks in the diaspora are engaged. You know, for those of you who may not know me, I've had the honor of representing Rhode Island's 1st Congressional District for the last 11 months. And in that 11 months, I have taken on a role that, you know, I wasn't necessarily certain would ever be a possibility, but a role of immense responsibility to people in my district, in our country, but also to people throughout the diaspora. You know, I'm the son of 2 West African immigrants, my dad from Ghana, my mom from Liberia. They met in Rhode Island, and in one generation, they've gone from $2.10 in a factory in CNA to having their son serve in Congress. And we know to whom much is given, much is owed. And I think that is a through line for all of us. That's why we're involved. That's why we care about, whether it is about the lands of our origin or the places that we reside now. We know that the future that we hope for is all under threat. And elections, to me, fundamentally are about what's to come. They aren't what has been, but about what's to come, both in terms of the positives that we aspire to, but the negatives that we're preventing. And when you look at Vice President Harris and all that she has accomplished in this short period of time, it's because people want to put the right foot forward for our future. It's because when she talks about a new way forward, it's a new way forward for our country to fulfill its promise. The reason people struggle to come here, struggle to thrive, struggle to make sure their children have the best education they can, struggle to be part of their communities, to really grow here, is because we are an optimistic group of people. You don't take the daring trips to uproot, to escape and flee, to merely seek better opportunities without a sense of optimism. And that's what the vice president represents. The joy that she's brought forward in this campaign, we're smiling again. This is not a campaign built on divisiveness. It's based on, you know, the pursuit of that opportunity that we deserve. So, you know, across the board, and I don't need to dive into every nook and cranny of the policy, but you all know that we need a robust set of investments in people. That's what it's going to be about. I try to not get into the acronym soup of legislation and really focus on the high level values here. We can talk about small businesses. We can talk about child tax credit. We can talk about Medicare coverage for home workers, for home care, which will benefit home workers, many of whom are from our communities. We can talk about all of the investments that we need to not stunt, right, as we combat climate change, as we invest in robust infrastructure for our country, as we bring forward, like my brother on the line, Congressman Jackson, a thoughtful policy towards Africa, one based on partnership, not aid, one based upon ensuring that we accelerate the trade opportunities that exist in working towards a reauthorization of AGOA, of doing meaningful things. We can get into all of that, but at the spirit level, which is the level which I seek to engage you on, we know that this is important for tomorrow. And I consistently say this, my mantra, why I get to do what I get to do, is because someone came before us and exhibited a great amount of hard work, grit, resilience, and determination to make our tomorrow better than today. That is fundamentally what we are trying to do, make tomorrow better than today. So how do we activate? How do we make real the promise of the opportunity at our doorstep? We have to be the heroes in our stories. We have to drive forward the outcomes that we seek, and we have a lot of agency. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. The fact of the matter is, if you look across all of these battleground states, we know that there are pockets of the diaspora everywhere. You go to Philly, you go to Pittsburgh, you go to Milwaukee, you go to Atlanta. You know that there are people that we have in our lives who are able to deploy their votes in order for us to reach numbers that we need. So I won't repeat. We'll say a lot of similar things tonight, but I think it's imperative that you use every single tool. This is now, the sophistication of a campaign is important, but we got to be grassroots about this. You go through your phone, you start texting, you go to WhatsApp, you start sharing, you make sure everybody knows their polling place. You make sure that everybody has a plan to vote across the states. Battleground, not battleground. That's frankly irrelevant for this exercise. We deploy our networks in every single way possible. No regrets. No waking up on November 6th wishing I could have done something else. And I believe that that's what this group is capable of making sure that there are no regrets. That is why we are activated. That is why we are working. I know there will be a set of resources and links sent out, so I don't want to be redundant. But my clarion call to you is to leave no stone unturned. We know the proverb. When you want to go fast, you go alone. Go far, you go together. Let us go together into victory for Vice President Kamala Harris, for Tim Walz. I am so grateful to represent, I always call it my other constituency, it's the diaspora. I am always, always, always in debt to where I came from. And I know together where we're going, we'll be stronger, we'll be brighter, and we'll be what we deserve in this country for us all. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Congressman, so much for taking time off your busy schedule. I believe there's one question in there for you there. Famata, do you see that? Chris, are you there?
We see it. What are the plans to protect voters in this election? We have been hearing ballots being destroyed.
Look, I will tell you a few things. One, the voter protection apparatus on this campaign is significant. So if anybody sees anything irregular, I'll get the National Voter Protection Hotline. There's a hotline to call. There are lawyers working every hour on this. So that's one. Two, know that there is also a lot of misinfo and disinfo out there. So stay focused. What is happening related to a ballot destroyed somewhere has no bearing, right, on whether you should tell people to go and vote. Has no bearing on energizing people. There will be videos upon videos upon videos. There will be phone calls, robocalls saying all sorts of things. Trusted authorities only. Don't be distracted. There are professionals doing the protection. We'll make sure you have the voter protection hotline in the readout, but do not stay focused on that. The mission here is get as many people to vote as possible. If there are irregularities, the number is there. We have connections to people across the country, but at the end of the day, don't be distracted. The mission is still vote, 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 vote.
Thank you for that great information there. Famata.
Does anyone have questions from the planning team? for Representative Amo? No? All right. Nobody has questions.
All right. Well, I look forward to the call that happens after victory. Oh, wait,
I see a hand, but
someone raised
please,
hand.
yeah, please put the question in the Q&A. So one of the audience members raised their hand. So if you can put your question in the Q&A, that'd be great.
Daggett, I was going to say no questions because everyone's already voted. Oh.
And now the responsibility is if you voted already, you got to go get more people to vote.
That's right. That's right.
It's not done with you. It is not done with you.
That's right.
How many more can you get?
That's right. That's right.
So I saw 2 hands up. So put your questions in the Q&A. I guess they're trying to type it in there. The question about voters being purged.
Mm-hmm. So again, this is one where everybody, this is a very good question. You should encourage people when you're asking folks to go vote that they go and check their registration status. It should be easy to do. But I do want to make a point here. We should not spend our time thinking about voters being purged in the abstract. It is look, there are, for example, this, in Virginia, we saw there was the Supreme Court allowed about 1,800 people to be purged. That these are reasonable concerns. But my point is, do not go to this with fear in the abstract. Tell people, go check your registration, see what your status is, go vote. If there is a fear that you may not be there, vote provisionally. Don't leave a vote in place without voting. This is one of those, we heard it in the last election, stay in the line. This is make sure that whether it's participating in voting provisionally while there may be a something that you need to check on or checking status before, but don't make any assumptions about being purged. That is not something to focus on. It is terribly important to tell people that all of these things that are happening should not affect the fundamental thing. Show up, vote, check your status, make sure you're in compliant with every state. You're in North Carolina, make sure you have a valid form of ID. There's a list of about 10 eligible forms. If you're in, states where you have an ability to same day everybody should be able to same day register. Make sure you're able to do that in the presidential. So make sure you know the intricacies of your individual state. iwillvote.com is in the chat. Use iwillvote.com. Make sure you know the rules for where you are, because I can speak to a few of them that I've been to recently. I can't speak to all of them. So it's important that you know your rules.
Thank you so much for those answers. Our next person that we are going to introduce, I'm going to this sideway a little bit. This person sits on the shoulders of his dad, Reverend Jackson, who are some of these trailblazers that did all the hard work in the 60s for the civil rights. And these are something that I'm going to go ahead and say it here. The lifestyle and the quality of life that most Africans in the diaspora enjoy is because of some of the hard work African Americans have done during the civil rights. And this young man here, dad, Reverend Jackson and others, MLK and others, we enjoy what we enjoy in America because of what the hard work they did in the 50s and 60s. Without a doubt, we're grateful to have our Representative Jackson here. Thank you, sir, and thank you for being here, and we'll look forward to hearing from you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words, and thank you for the continued prayers for my father. Pray for your family as well. Like, give a very special thank you to the organizers of this program. Congratulations on your continued success. To my dear brother and friend, Congressman Gabe Amo, who I sit with on Foreign Affairs. His voice is much needed. We go through this Foreign Affairs committee meeting. I think it's 56, 58 of us on the committee. And when Secretary Blinken and others come before us, sometimes we can be in there for 3.5 hours and only 1 or 2 questions ever come up on Africa in the entire 3.5 hours. And so I greatly appreciate working with him. Thank him for his outstanding leadership. I'm excited about this campaign. I look at it in the hours now, is what I would tell everyone. Think about the urgency. 6 days, 144 hours and minus. The clock is ticking. So if you aren't on the edge of your seat, you certainly should be. And to add to that, we have to overwhelm the polls. Voter suppression is real. They've taken 1 million people off the ballot in Texas. They've tried to do the same sort of voter disenfranchisement, if you will, suppression in North Carolina. But our people are coming out in record numbers. I've been to Texas, North Carolina, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. I think that the youth vote is not being polled correctly. If you think about it, 44% of the American population now is under the age of 35. That there's a huge number of people that are underpolled, and some of the, if you will, the ventriloquists that are spewing this racism, that have black faces that they keep putting up as black men that are saying that they're for Trump. These are the men that are least likely to vote. African American men are the second most loyal voting bloc in the Democratic Party. We've shown up time and time again. We will show up in record numbers as well. So this is just a divisive tactic to try to distract us. People know where their interests lie. People are very focused on what the future has in store for them. They know that Kamala Harris comes of our culture and understands the plight of our people. I would like to remind people in this 60th anniversary of Fannie Lou Hamer, an activist, a civil rights worker that was born and raised in Mississippi, died at the age of 58 or 59, who in 1964, 60 years ago, went to the Democratic Convention in Atlantic City and said she was sick and tired of being sick and tired. She was challenging voter suppression. Her parents had been born into slavery in the United States of America. It wasn't that long ago. It's not that far away. And she was still living on the plantation her parents had worked on when she decided to go register and vote. The owner of that plantation told her she had to get off that plantation or rescind her right, her petition to vote. And so finally she was successful. She was jailed and beaten. President Lyndon Johnson went on the news when she was at the Democratic Convention in Atlantic City to take her off the air. And it only made her speech all the more powerful. She had a cyst on her stomach. She went to the doctor's office in Mississippi. They removed the cyst, and only to come find out after she had awakened, she had a forced hysterectomy. And when the Justice Department looked into it, 6 out of 10 African-American females had forced hysterectomies. This is in the 50s in the United States of America, not that far away, not that long ago. And I'm telling you, when we talk about reproductive freedom, it's not about abortion, it's about reproductive health and freedom. Birth is complex. And the same people that don't want to see women have the rights over their body are the same forces that will tell you poor women have too many children. We know what that means. And as I work on AGOA and the foreign affairs, working with Brother Gabe Amo, we have to get our conscious focused on AGOA and the growth in Africa. In just 25 short years from now, Africa will be 1/4 of the world's population, and we're not spending enough time talking about it. So we are very intentional about bringing the diaspora together. I was glad to be at the Congressional Black Caucus and have the Foreign Minister of South Africa to be my guest and give our keynote speech. So we are bringing the diaspora together. This is the dreams of our forefathers and our parents. To have the right to be in this Congress. I was just in Texas with Colin Allred, an African American can beat Ted Cruz in Texas. We have to win the majority in the Senate and the House. And Raphael Warnock, Reverend Warnock, was there as well. What a powerful scene to see all these men and women coming together. So I just couldn't be more excited. Victory is on our side. There's a tremendous youth undercount. Young people are coming out. They know what's at stake. They're very sagacious. They're very smart. And now you're seeing the spew of the venom and hatred that the Trump campaign can no longer hide. and he cannot distance himself from what happened in New York City. He cannot distance himself from those words because that's at the root of his campaign. So we've got love and hope and healing and a future on our side. He represents a dark past. So with those words, I would say congratulations. Most of the youth are moving and are on our side. The future is on our side. Now it's us to overwhelm the polls. And with that, I am thankful for my father's legacy, Reverend Jesse Jackson, with whom I could not be here today, and for the track that he's laid. And let us always remember those that came before us, and let's push forward and go further, faster, further. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. And indeed, we all stand on the legacy of your dad. Famata?
And all those civil rights leaders and all those and the great African leaders in Nkrumah and others that have laid a foundation. This was their dream. And there's so many people to thank. And I thank you for your kindness.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And if anyone have any questions, please type in your questions in the Q&A for the both congressmen there, and as well as the Madam Janelle Wickens. If you have any questions, please type it in there. They'll be able to answer your questions. So, Famata, do we have Congressman Jimmy Raskin? Is he next, or?
Okay, so nobody has questions. We can let me see, I see some questions. What are the common impediments to voters turning out massively? What are the common impediments to voters turning out massively a week to a presidential election? And how can we dissuade voters' lethargy at this stage?
Oh, if that's to me, each one teach one. I would say it's not a big plan. And I know posting and texting and other things are great, and texting, but there's also door knocking and hand holding, going to the grocery store, going to the place of worship, calling a family friend, somebody close to you. I would say just focus on the people closest to you and go to the grocery stores, the common areas. People enjoy the conversation. And it's a great opportunity, again, to get our children involved. I see so many children that are looking for jobs, but they need to start looking to volunteer, be of service, and you make some relationships, and then there are jobs. So let's make sure we get our children involved in the process. And I'm very big on that. Take your child to the poll. Voting has to be a family tradition. I appreciate what Gabe said. I've had the privilege of voting with my father since I was 18. This is my 40th year of voting. And on this Friday, I'll be going back to the poll with my father. I had the unique privilege of voting for my father the first time I voted in 1984. Make it a family tradition on taking your children, your family to the polls.
Okay. Let's see. What are some barriers to voting you have seen that affect college students or young voters? And what are some ways young voters interested in voting can address this issue?
Well, we don't have a federal Voting Rights Act, and so voting is determined by state. And so, for example, you have the right to vote where you live. So students in the future now should vote where they reside, where they go to college, number one. The second part is in the state of Texas, there are all these voting rights laws that are really strange. If you have a student ID and you're at the University of Texas, that doesn't qualify you as an ID for in-state. But if you have a gun license, you can use that to go to the voting polls. So it's arcane patchwork that's been highly influenced, but not to be deterred. Still go to the polls and make sure that your vote counts. And if you want to know how powerful voting is, what did Donald Trump tell the governor, the Secretary of State of Georgia? I need 11,780 votes. He says, I need 11,780 votes. So people are counting down to the last vote. And let us remember that the state of Wisconsin was won, the margin of victory for the last two elections was less than 1%. that Joe Biden beat, I think Donald Trump had beat Hillary Clinton by 25,748 votes. I mean, it came down to very voting specific. So we have the numbers. And the last thing I'll leave you with, because I got to go back to Milwaukee this evening for breakfast in the morning, is when Trump says, my crowd was bigger than Obama's crowd. My crowd was bigger than Obama's crowd. Let me be very clear on what he was saying, because everybody can see the picture. My crowd is bigger than his crowd. When you talk about voter suppression, what he was saying, because everybody could see the difference in crowd size, he was letting his people know in a dog whistle, there are more of them than us. There are more of them than us. Start voter suppression. That's when the state legislators started enacting voter suppression laws to change IDs, to start voter purging of the rolls. That's when it started. And that's what he was saying. So we have the numbers on our side. The children don't want to go back. They want to go forward. And this is their future. So I'm super, super excited.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to seeing you in person.
Likewise, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Dr. Bull,
thank
can
you so
give
very
us...
much, Representative Jackson. We really appreciate your time.
Look forward to working with you. Okay, bye-bye.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
All right.
Sir, thank you. Thank you. Regards to your dad, sir.
Thank you. And to your family as well.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So, Dr. Bull, can you give us a brief warm-up and inspiration while we wait for Congressman Jamie Raskin to come on?
Real quick, before we do that, have we answered the 3 questions that are left? Do we want to see if we can help answer those?
Let's see.
I just answered the one. Yeah.
What are the common impediments to voter turning? Okay, he answered that.
So this one is already answered, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Congressman
Raskin is
back. Fantastic.
I'm saved.
Hello, everybody.
Saved by the login.
Oh,
What a pleasure to be with you guys.
our heroes here.
I think Vladimir Putin and Elon Musk were trying to stop me from logging in.
I think so.
And Peter Thiel, you left Peter out of it. Add him to the list.
Hey, what an honor to be with everybody, Famata. And I don't know if you just want me to do questions or I can, I've been out on the road. I've been to 27 states. I just got back from my 6th trip to Pennsylvania. The Democrats are on fire everywhere I go. I mean, the rallies, the phone banking, the Zoom sessions, the knocking on doors. It's very moving, really very moving to see what's happened. And, a lot of it is when President Biden, engaged in a real act of leadership. And he showed how part of leadership is making room for new generations, and investing in the new generation. And I think that was profoundly moving. And then the convention was extraordinary, as you know, to show the magnificent strength and moral conviction and diversity of our party. I mean, I think the last week or 10 days have been tough because there's just been this wall of propaganda and disinformation from Elon Musk. And, the Silicon Valley billionaires are putting in, hundreds of millions of dollars for propaganda. But the truth is that I think Trump is going down. It's so clear. He's not in control of his faculties. They raised the whole issue of age and infirmity and memory loss with Biden. Biden made his decision. Trump made his bed. He's got to sleep in it now. Everybody's looking at him like he really should not be out there. I mean, leaving his politics aside, if you can do that, because they're so atrocious. They had their hate festival Nuremberg rally in Madison Square Garden the other night, where, they kicked off by engaging in really just sexist, sex statements about Kamala Harris, and then the stuff about Puerto Rico, a floating mound of garbage in the Atlantic Ocean. And, people are saying, oh, that's so offensive, it's so hurtful. It's not so much that. We know what they're about, but it's the fact that they get in front of 30,000 of themselves and they clap and they cheer and they yell. Like, that's what they're feeding those people now. And so we know exactly what their program is. They really do want to try to create internment camps and detention camps in the United States of America and deport millions of people and run a racist campaign. I mean, that's what it's all about. So look, I'm proud of the record that we have to run on. I sat there for 4 years under Donald Trump. We had infrastructure week, we had infrastructure month, we had infrastructure barbecue, which I didn't go to, at the White House. We never had an infrastructure bill. And Joe Biden got elected in the first week. Biden and Harris sent us an infrastructure bill. And we passed it in the first month. $1.2 trillion investment in the roads, the highways, the bridges, the ports, the airports, rail, trail, rural broadband, urban broadband. The Democrats did that without a single Republican vote. We passed the Inflation Reduction Act, the greatest bill with the worst name ever passed in the history of the United States. I mean, the name doesn't capture everything that it did. A great investment in climate action, dramatic reductions in prescription drug costs. Okay, I had constituents were paying $500 a month for insulin as diabetics, $500 a month. We capped it at $35 a month in the Medicare program. $2,000 a year cap on out-of-pocket prescription drug costs. We didn't get a single Republican vote, and they want to repeal it now. The Democrats did that, and so I don't, I'm trying not to sound too partisan these days because we want to get every last Republican vote. God bless Liz Cheney for what she's done. Our tent is so big, we got Dick Cheney in our tent. That's a big tent.
Yes, sir.
That's a big tent, right? But I had a colleague from South Carolina, Trey Gowdy was his name, and he left after 2 years of Trump. A lot of the Republicans, like the sane Republicans, they got out after 2 years. They said they did not like where this thing was going. They've turned themselves into a cult, So anyway, he was leaving Congress and he said, Raskin, you're not a bad guy. The problem with you is you're a liberal. I said, you're damn right I'm a liberal. The heart of that word is liberty. And I said, I'm a progressive because the heart of that word is progress. But my favorite thing to call myself today is a conservative. Why? I want to conserve the land, the air, the water, the climate system, the Constitution of the United States, the Bill of Rights, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act, which gave 30 million people health insurance in America, the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, the National Labor Relations Act, the Fair Labor Standards Act, everything that their party of nihilists and reactionaries and fascists wants to destroy is everything we're going to defend and conserve. So we've got a big tent. We are the party of the liberals and the progressives and the conservatives at this point. And the Democratic Party is the party of democracy, the only party that will stand up for everybody's right to vote, even if you're not going to vote for us. But Mata, you've been to 1 million Democratic Party meetings in your time. You ever see somebody get up at a meeting and say, how are we going to suppress the Republican vote? How are we going to throw people off the rolls? How are we going to disenfranchise that community, right? How are we going to make it more difficult for people to vote? So, this is really about the defense of the democratic idea. And look, I learned on January 6th, 2021, everything I was taught growing up about American exceptionalism is not right. We're not magically immune to fascism or racism or authoritarianism. What's exceptional about America is that we at least started with the ideals of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness for everybody and everybody being created equal. And it's in the Declaration of Independence. And we've fought for those ideals over our history. And we're now the world's greatest multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multicultural, constitutional democracy. And they want to tear it down. They want to destroy it. Starting with the autocrats in Moscow and the kleptocrats and the plutocrats in Mar-a-Lago and the theocrats in MAGA and Mike Johnson, who want a white Christian nationalist country. They want to tear down our democracy. So Democrats aren't perfect. We got a lot of flaws and a lot of limitations and imperfections. But I tell you this, who's going to beat the autocrats and the plutocrats and the theocrats and the kleptocrats? The Democrats. We're going to do it. Our party. We're going to do it. And so to me, that's where we are. We're going to leave it all out on the field. And, you know, I'm thrilled that you've organized this session and that, you know, that we're getting so many of the immigrant communities engaged in this campaign, and the wonderful African immigrant community in Maryland. We've got a big race for the U.S. Senate. We got to make sure Angela also Brooks beats Hogan, you know, who discovered he was pro-choice at age 68 or whatever. I mean, come on, give me a break, right? That's not how it works. So we know why the Republicans are behind him and why Mitch McConnell plucked him out. He never was even interested in going to the Senate. He said for years, I'm not interested in the Senate. I'm an executive. I want to be a governor. And then they say, oh, well, we'll throw tens of millions of dollars at you. We'll get Elon Musk and Clarence Thomas's sugar daddy. What's that guy's name? Harlan Crow. He put in $250,000. Another one of those right-wing billionaires. I mean, come on. So anyway, my friends, tell the young people they got to go vote, and tell them this is what we teach them in Democracy Summer. Everything that you need to know about voting is everything you need to know about driving. Okay. If you want to go forward, you put it in D. And if you want to go backwards, you put it in R. Okay. That's all they need to understand. Let's go forward. Let's put it in D for democracy, not backwards with the Republicans. And we're not going to stay in neutral. We got to keep America moving forward. We got some big problems to deal with, like gun violence and economic inequality and climate change. But we're only going to do it if we have a party of democracy, not a party of the billionaire oligarchs. Forgive me for filibustering, Fatmata. I'm going to yield back to you, and I'm happy to take any questions from any of my friends here.
I love it. Everyone loves it, Congressman. We all love it. We can hear you speak for the next hour.
I know, right?
We really could, honestly. So let's see. Does anyone within the committee have a question for the congressman? Okay, hands are going up.
Hold on. Can we ask? There's been some questions earlier. Can we go through those real quick?
Do you want to go through them before the?
Yeah, Congressman. Yeah,
okay,
first.
Go ahead, Chris. Read them out.
Yeah, first question here from Imam Teslim Magali from Maryland. Please speak to two specific policies Republicans have touted and say works in 4 years, but has not worked in 4 years under the current administration. Remaining Mexico policy that brought down illegal immigration, drill baby drill that gave us energy independence. Hope that was clear. I can repeat.
Comment on those two. Well, look,
yes, sir.
The Republicans on the second one, the Republicans attack Harris-Biden for all of the environmental protections that we've put in to try to deal with the problem of climate change. And even with those protections, and even with the best investment in green energy, in hydroelectric, in wind and solar, and we're making progress, even with that, we are at the peak production of oil and gas in American history under Biden-Harris, right? So I don't know what they're complaining about, if that's what they want, but they're basically just saying they don't believe in climate change. If you read Project 2025, you know what their plan is for climate change? They want to ban the use of the words climate change.
Okay, they're going to solve the problem of climate change by banning the use of the words climate change. So forgive me, that makes no sense at all. That makes no sense. Kamala has taken the position that we need to keep gas and oil for who knows an indefinite period of time until we can replace it with the other energies. But we're seeing with these massive droughts all over the world, massive flooding, massive hurricanes. You saw what happened to our friends in North Carolina, in Asheville, North Carolina. I mean, the power of a destabilized climate is extraordinary. And we're just beginning to wake up to what's going on. And these people don't even want to believe it's real. They don't believe in science. They don't want to believe the scientists. So you got one pro-science party and one anti-science party, right? I'm sorry, your other question, I forgot what the other one was. It was about remain in Mexico.
Remain in Mexico, yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, look, the number of apprehensions of people crossing the border illegally has gone up during Biden-Harris. And because of a number of smart policies they've put in, the number of border crossings has gone down from Trump. Okay. But in any event, we said, let's not play politics with this. Let's get together and pass some legislation. We need to beef up enforcement at the border. We voted for 1,700 new border officers, for hundreds of new federal judges, immigration judges, to hear the claims right at the border. So people who have a legitimate asylum claim can come in and the people who don't would be returned. That was supported. Not all the Democrats loved it. Most of the Republicans loved it. Lankford, who's a Republican from Oklahoma, a very conservative guy, he led it. He said it was the best legislation they'd ever seen. Okay, it was a bipartisan compromise. That's what a compromise is. So we agreed to it, and guess who blew it up? Donald Trump. I literally saw members of the House getting phone calls from Donald Trump on the floor, him saying, do not vote for it. I do not want a border solution. I want a border crisis. And why do you want a border crisis? You know why. He wants to run on that issue so he can inflame people's racism against Mexicans and against people from Latin America. They don't even know that Puerto Ricans are American citizens. I mean, don't get me started with these people. But so I guess I would say we obviously need comprehensive immigration reform. My position is we got to make it a lot easier to get into America lawfully and a lot harder to get into America unlawfully. Okay, but Trump, when Trump was in office, they were every year substantially cutting the number of people who could get admitted to the country from all over the world lawfully. You guys, I've got hotel executives, restaurant people, Eastern Shore fish businesses coming to my office begging us to let more people into the country. There are huge labor shortages in the service sector, in the hotel sector, in the restaurant sector, in manufacturing, in the agriculture sector. We need people in the country. We've got jobs that are empty, right? We got record low unemployment. We've got a roaring economy, and they want to kick people out of the country. I mean, how's our healthcare system going to survive? So we need for people who've been in the country working honestly, have no crimes, are not causing problems in our communities. We need a decent pathway to citizenship for those people. And then we need to change the immigration system so people can come to America. You know, right now, less than 2% of the people are admitted every year who are applying to come to America when we have these huge labor shortages. So it makes no sense. And then it creates a pull for people to come in illegally because you've got all these businesses, especially agriculture in the Southwest and the West, who are hiring people to come in illegally. And so we got to stop playing politics with it. We need a serious bipartisan compromise to make that real. Thank you for the questions.
Well, let me get my question in here. Congressman Raskin, I know you're a constitutional law expert. What I wanted to know, why DOJ has not invited Elon Musk about his trickery lottery scheme, $1 million that he's given out. You know, I'm a Australian and American. In Africa, we call that corruption. You should have been invited in jail. Tell me, sir, use your constitutional expertise and convince me why these guys haven't been invited by DOJ yet.
Yeah, you know, like it's a profound point. I'm really glad you're raising it. They did send them some kind of warning letter, but they haven't done anything. I believe that the Pennsylvania district attorney has threatened them with action. But like, let's just elaborate your point for a second here. If you got a billionaire who wants to give away $1 million and say there's 100,000 people voting, that guy could not give $10 to each person. That would very clearly be vote buying, right? Well, if you say, I'm going to give $1 million and give everybody a lottery ticket, that's basically the same as giving everybody $10. Everybody's got a, 1 in 100,000 chance of winning $1 million, but you're bribing them to vote your way. I mean, come on, like that just cheapens the meaning of democracy and citizenship. We've got to have a real election where people can talk about issues. I looked this up. Okay, here's what the political scientists tell us are the characteristics of a fascist political party. Okay, number one, they don't accept the outcome of democratic elections that don't go their way. That's number one. Number two, they embrace political violence, or they refuse to disavow political violence as the means of getting power. Number three, they're not organized democratically, where the people inside the party decide on issues. It's top down, a cult of personality around a charismatic or allegedly charismatic leader, okay? And four, they don't actually advance policy positions for the public to debate. They don't say, well, here's my proposal on immigration, or here's my proposal on Medicare and home care, or they don't do that. They use scapegoating, racism, anti-Semitism, immigrant bashing, gay bashing. Like that is what the authoritarian parties do. And what is Trump running on? He gets up and he insults people. I mean, that's it, right? Okay, that's fascistic. Anyway, they end up trying to bribe people, as you say. And $1 million chance to win for 100,000 people is like giving everybody $10. Like, here's your $10. Now I own you, and stop thinking for yourself. I'll think for you, right? Yeah. I mean, it's Russia. The way Putin's got his oligarchs, Trump's going to have his oligarchs, starting with Elon Musk. Yeah, that's what he would do. It's so obvious. And for Trump, it's a money-making operation. We released a report, the Oversight Democrats released a report about $8 million we were able to find before Chairman Comer cut off the discovery process. But at least $8 million we know of that Trump pocketed at the hotels from Saudi Arabia, from China, Indonesia, from Egypt, United Arab Emirates. He's just pocketing the money. Plus, he's shaking down the taxpayers. The Constitution says the president is limited to his salary and cannot receive any other money from the federal government. Well, again, for just an 11-month period we got before they cut us off in the discovery, we found $350,000 that he billed the Secret Service for Trump family members staying at the Trump Hotel. Check that out. Trump family members staying at the Trump Hotel who work for Trump, they billed the taxpayers 5 times what the per diem government rate is, and even more than they were charging their illegal foreign government customers who were giving them emoluments too. So, I mean, the guy is a con man, and this is what I think the election is about. Are we going to have government as an instrument for the common good of everybody, where we try to solve our problems together? Or is government going to be an instrument for private self-enrichment for the guy who gets in, his family, his businesses? I mean, doesn't it seem so clear to everybody? I mean, that's what's so frustrating about this. I mean, does anybody think Donald Trump is committed to anybody other than himself? So anyway, forgive me. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. People tell me you're preaching to the choir. I'm like, I like preaching to the choir, you know? I enjoy preaching to the choir.
Besides, there are other people watching besides the choir. As you know, we are live on YouTube and Facebook, so we need people to hear this stuff. We need
Well,
people
thank
who
you,
can
Fatmata.
do
Thank
it.
you for organizing it. And
So,
forgive me for being so freewheeling and free-spoken tonight.
Love it.
I've had a long day. I've done about 14 events today. But I'm thrilled that everybody is engaged with the process. You know, when people say, oh, I feel so cynical, I feel so jaded, I feel so pessimistic, that's a strategy. I know it's a strategy. I read a book about that, that this young man wrote, who worked for Cambridge Analytica and Steve Bannon and Vladimir Putin back in 2016. They literally try to use the social media to depress the hell out of everybody, to demoralize people. So don't fall for the propaganda and the disinformation. And we're going all the way here. And we know we've got two jobs. One, win the election. Two, defend the election. Defend it. At the precinct level, the county level, state level, in Congress, January 6th, we've seen what they're capable of, right? So if tell me if there's any more questions. Otherwise, I got to go to sleep.
Chris, are there any more questions for the congressman?
Yeah, there's a couple more. There's two. One interesting one here. I've already voted, but what would you do if you're in my position? How can I make the most impact within the next 5 days?
Yeah. Well, what an awesome question. I mean,
Yeah,
I tell
great
people
question.
first, make two lists, okay? Make a list of everybody in your family. You'd be surprised the people you've forgotten. Make a list of all your friends. Just call everybody or send them a Facebook message or email, whatever. Make sure everybody gets out to vote. And then I don't know if they live in Maryland or not, but
Maryland,
you know,
PG
yeah,
County. Yeah.
okay, because there's a bunch of candidates who would still love to have your help in the last couple of days, including Angela also Brooks, including our friend April Delaney in the 6th district. You can just get in touch with any of them. And then please don't believe the hype and the negative information. Just keep everybody's spirits up. The musicians have been great in this campaign, haven't they? They've just been awesome. The songs that they're writing and the performances. And so, yeah, keep everybody's spirits up.
Thank you. One last one. Any thoughts on internal polling, as opposed to what we're seeing out there? Because we know there's a lot of crazy polling on social media. Are you guys seeing anything internally that you could?
I mean, but no, I've not seen anything internally. I know I've got a friend, my friend Michael, he's obsessed with the polls. He looks at them like 24/7. I don't really, look, if you believe the polls, it's so close. It doesn't make any difference to keep looking in the polls. It's like weighing yourself 50 times a day. You're going to weigh the same pretty much, you keep going back to the scale, like go out, go for a run. Now that can make a difference, go work out, that can make a difference. And so I say it's the same thing. Like, don't obsess about the polls. I think a lot of the polls right now are manipulated. I think there's a lot of right-wing money in those polls. And a lot of disinformation. And the only antidote to the anxiety people are feeling is activism. Just go out, even if it's just for an hour a day or something, and knock on doors. Make sure you put the signs up in the neighborhood, bumper stickers. No good act is wasted in this process, and teach the young people.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We could keep you here all night, but you got to go rest.
Thank you, Fatmata. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and hanging tough. And I'm going to see you all at the inauguration of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, all right?
Yes. Thank you so much. And thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, dear man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.
So, guys, Famata, is Dr. Bull, are you on?
Yes.
I'm right here.
do you have access to your computer? I would like you to give us a few minutes of the raw analytics for North Carolina. Couple of minutes.
Let him give us his we need Dr. Bull's stuff. So let him give us that first.
Imagine,
Imagine
you getting me to speak after 3 congressmen.
I know. They had to go.
What is a tall order?
It's not. You're Dr. Bull. What you talking about? You are Dr. Bull.
Yes, I am. I am. First of all, I just want to thank the panelists for organizing this session since July. Every Wednesday night we've been on, and this is the last Wednesday night. We started this on the grill because we realized that we've been on the menu for so long. We've been barbecued, we've been broiled, we've been baked, we've been everything. And we are not at the table. And we realize as diasporans in this country, we need to be at the table. So we decided we're going to RSVP our place at the Harris-Walz campaign. And over the last 100 days, as Jimmy Cliff would say, I could see clearly now because that Hurricane Trump is about to go. And it is going, and I believe it is going because we have done what we need to do. We registered to vote, and we encourage other people to register to vote as part of the ISVP. We sponsor the campaign. We've done everything. We've voted. And now we are at the P of the ISVP. We need to continue to promote. And you just need to ask yourself, why are we doing this? We're doing this because of the joy and happiness that we see with the 47th president to be Kamala Harris. We're doing this because we have a president to be that has a to-do list. We're doing this because we have a president to be who sees the opponents as participants to put them at the table. We're doing this because we believe in democracy. We're doing this because we believe in the principles of America. So folks, we have to continue to do this. We have 6 days to go, and we know we've all voted, we're speaking to the choir. You know, in the metro piece of weather, they talk about the hurricane is category 5. Right now, we have a category 10, Donald Trump. Hurricane Trump is coming. It's coming for Black people. It's coming for diverse people. It's coming for everybody on that enemy's list. And we, the Africans from the diaspora, we are on the enemy's list. Don't fool yourself. And we have to make sure we diffuse that hurricane into a tropical depression and into a Trump depression. And we're going to send him with a depression out to go there and lick his wounds after he loses this election. So folks, we have work to do. And that work that we have to do is to make sure you talk to your neighbors, your friends, and everyone. Even if you don't have to sleep for the next 6 days, do it. Because we're going to wake up on the 6th of November and history would be made. Don't be fooled by the polls. This election of the 7 states, we're going to take all 7 states. And I'm going to guarantee you North Carolina is going to be blue. It is happening.
No idea.
We've seen the trends. Everything is happening. So we're going to fight. We're going to fight for global prosperity. We're going to fight for democracy. We're going to fight for Africa. We're going to fight for the marginalized. We're going to fight for women's rights. We're going to fight for everything that and we know that when we fight, what happens? We win.
We win. We win. We win.
We are going to win. And we are going to win. And it's going to happen. And thank you all again for dedicating the last 100 days. Thank you, Fatmata. Thank you, Dr. Sharif. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody. I thank you for such a wonderful, wonderful job. And we know now that we at the table, we would have to choose items from the menu, and it will not be Africans, it will not be Asians, it will not be Puerto Ricans. We know who we're going to pick on the menu. On top of the menu, is Trump. We are at the table now, and our votes would get him out of the office. Thank you.
We needed that. We needed that because you're talking to us, from us. It's everyone who has been through, it's been great. And everything they've all said has been very, people need to mute themselves, or we don't want to kick anyone off, but you have to mute yourself, please. Every guest we've had has been amazing and wonderful. But you speak to us, from us, and we really appreciate the way you uplift us in this every Wednesday night. In case you never knew that, but it really does help us out do the work. So Fuad, I guess what do you, I know you wanted some stuff done.
Well, before I do that, first of all, I'd like to thank the planners of this of this group, Africans in the Diaspora. As you guys can see, I'm rocking my t-shirt. We're working on it.
My t-shirt, Doc.
Working on the t-shirt, so we're working on it.
It looks great.
So, I mean, we'd like to thank all the planners of the committee and all the guests that have been joining us since July. It is really a blessing to be part of this journey. And Africans in the Diaspora, I'm glad that we haven't sat on the sideline. We've gone doing campaigning, canvassing in Pennsylvania. We've as busy as we all are. We've been coming on every week, getting involved to make sure Harris wins, and this just makes us all proud. So after this election, for sure, Harris is going to win, and we're going to have to look at the next step.
She's going to win, Doctor.
Without a doubt, she's going to win, and I would like to thank everyone for the last since July, being here and participating in it, amplifying our collective efforts. I'm going to let all you guys speak. I'm going to hold on and just to hear what you guys have to say. I'm excited. It's been a pleasure working with you guys since July.
So I'm gonna go from left to right with the committee. For those of you who have logged on, Fuad has sort of said we're so thankful to you guys. All the work, all the encouragement, all the background things, the coming back, asking for more. The last minute little text message, Ike. The request, all the things you guys see, you hear us talk, you hear me talk a lot and but you guys have no idea. You have no idea the work that some folks
that's what I'm referring to, which is
I don't know. I've been working here since '92.
I've put in
Goa.
Okay, have put into this planning process and getting this done. So I'm going to start from my left to my right, and the committee. Fuad wants to hear from you guys on the last meeting that we're having in Mobilizing, Kamala Harris and Team Walz. Your why, where you started and where you have ended now. Stephanie.
Why I gotta go first? I would just like to say I've dibble dabbled in politics. I've never really been truly invested in politics, and this year has really pushed me beyond my bounds when it came to politics. And I am 100% vested. We have worked night and day. We have traveled. We have partnered. I'm exhausted. I'm literally exhausted. We have just finished partnering with Michelle Obama's When We All Vote campaign to get out the early votes. We shuttled people back and forth to the voting, early voting. We fed them. We partied with them. Last night we went to her rally. It was amazing to see all the buses that they bussed in all of these college students in. Spelman was there in full effect. It was an amazing night, and there's more to come. And I'm just looking forward to our win and our party. It's been great working with all of you, meeting all of you, getting to know all of you. I know we missed each other every time we travel, but you know, as things slow down a little bit, hopefully, I will be in PA for Thanksgiving, so hopefully I'll get to see some people out on that end. But it's been a great experience, and more experience to come, and learning and getting more vested in, not only in my community, but also in other communities, and learning about what our needs are and the fact that we need to be heard. And I love that advocacy part of things. So I thank you all for helping me with that. And I look forward to more engagement.
Thank you, Stephanie.
All right.
Thank you.
Maureen.
Hello.
Thank you.
Maureen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. So I want to start by saying thank you, Fatmata, for bringing me on board. Thank you, Dr. Ford and Fatmata, for creating this space. I had never been involved in politics before, be it in my country or this country. But the last couple of months, I've really been involved. And even as Dr. Bull puts it, the RSVP, we have to create a space where you can't just do nothing. So that's been me the last couple of months. I've been advocating for my community, for other communities, for the whole African community. And it's been a blessing. And just being in this committee has really given me a space to really advocate for our community. And I would request and urge, if you're listening, just urge you to do something. You cannot just not do anything. You have to do something for your community in order for us to be heard, to be included, and just to make sure that whatever we are working for, even for our children in the future, you have to do something. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you.
Dr. Bull, I don't know if you want to say anything since you spoke, but floor is yours.
Well, I just want to say thank you. I think this is just a great, great endeavor, initiative, and I don't think it should stop today. I think we should continue, because there's the victory side of this, and past the victory side, we have to start thinking policy, policy for our respective countries. Now that we are recognized by all these congressmen and women speaking to us, we need to leverage. We need to leverage Africans in the diaspora for the next steps. And we need to be more involved. And I think we just need to upscale this moving forward. And to all the active participants, Fatmata, Dr. Sharif, and all the folks who have contributed their talent, it shows that as a continent, we could come together. I never believed this could happen. But you know what? It takes a moment in life and crisis for things to happen. And we saw the writing on the wall. We saw that hurricane coming, and we said it's not going to make landfall, and we would stop it. And so we came together as a continent, and we are able to contribute to stop it. And it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience. So thank you all again. And it's a pleasure knowing all of you, and I look forward to building capacity. So thanks.
Chris?
Uh-oh.
See, rock.
So for me, as Fouad, a good friend of mine, known each other for years and years and years. He knows I'm always engaged in politics. He sees me from afar. I'm always engaged in news and happenings. I know how my family felt, especially my two boys felt in 2016 when they woke up when Trump won the election. So I thought after 2020 he was going to go away, but he refuses to go away. So I said to myself, this time around, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get this guy gone once and for all. So look, I was doing stuff locally in the county that I live in, and then Fuad told me about the Africans in the diaspora for Harris. He's like, "Do you want to join us?" I'm like, "I'm ready to do anything this time around to get rid of this guy once and for all." So I joined in, and it's been an amazing ride. It's been an amazing ride. Met some amazing folks, some talented minds, brilliant people. I thought I had a drive and passion, but just listen to what Stephanie just said just now. I thought I was tired, but I don't see myself doing what she did over the past 3 or 4 months. But I think that's the next step for me, is to get active. And what this group has done to me, I literally did my first ever canvassing last weekend in Pennsylvania. Interesting experience. I'll do it again. It was different, but I'll do it again. But one thing I want to leave with everybody in this group, as far as attendance, we all tend to come together during the national elections. I implore everyone to please, please get engaged in every single election in your locality. For the schools, for your mayor, for your councilman, your delegates, you have to go out and vote. Usually during those times when you go to these schools to go vote on your precincts, there's no one around, right? Because not too many people are paying attention. But those elections matter. Those elections are what makes a change, a difference in your community. So please do that. And also pay attention to the proposition questions. I was having this conversation on the way back from Pennsylvania last weekend. But those are the little things that make a difference. And then we get to the policy, as Dr. Bull said. But you have to stay engaged in all elections, not just national. Thank you all, and we'll continue this ride.
Thank you, sir.
Ike.
Brother Ike.
Woo. I can't believe
the man with that design. That's Brother Ike's work right there.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharif. It's been an interesting ride. Truly and honestly, I remember the first time I got that call, I wasn't sure what to expect. Off the record, but Matt and I had a chat. You know, it was a bit of a struggle initially because of general idea that we as Africans can't come together to agree and to become a force. Personally, I tell folks wherever I go that Nigeria is my village, Africa is my country. That's my mindset. And so against all odds, I had been pushed, kicked, cursed out, called names to bounce off this platform, and I refused. I refused because I believed in what it stood for, and I believed that these are the kind of values that we need to put together. The problem we've always had is the fragmentation of our continent into little tiny countries that we don't have a strong voice. One of my biggest takeaways is from Dr. Bull himself, and I used it last week at an event in DC, and everybody busted out laughing. But afterwards, people came to me and said to me, "You know what? You made sense. If you are not on the table, you are on the menu." So I don't want to be eaten up again by anyone. Too big of a fish to be eaten. So I believe as leaders, our role transpires it's not just leadership is not just a role. I tell my leadership class, when I talk to young people, that it's about compassion, it's about having integrity, it's about staying focused and having a clear vision of where you want to accomplish and inspire others. And so I want to thank the leadership of this group, Sharif, Mata, Bull, and whoever I've left out, Chris. You have inspired others to keep on going. Like all of us have just said earlier on, let this not be the end of this group. Most of the groups that you've seen earlier on are going to fall off. There's going to be a lot of scrambling for office if and when our girl wins. If any of you do find yourself in the White House, please don't forget those of us who might be in the crack house, and remember to carry us along when you get those invitations. I'm saying that because I know some of you here will bounce from this platform and will find themselves in the White House and shut that door. You shut that door, I'm gonna catch you on the street when you come round again in 4 years, and I'll say, we're not doing this with you. So I go real gangster when I have to, right? So that's the truth of everything. I thank God that we took our first bold step If you never know, you will never begin. You never begin, you never become. So you must always take that step. And we did. And we transformed our logo, we transformed everything. And gradually, believe it or not, we have spoken louder than even those who think they had the capacity. Why? Because the heart and intent of purpose was one. God bless you all. Love you. Take care.
Thank you, Brother Ike. Thank you, sir. And who's next?
Udi.
Thank you so much, Fatmata and Mr. Sharif and all the original founders of this organization. I don't really remember how I got connected to you. I think it's through friends of friends. I know Shagun Adeyina here, really good buddy of mine, ran for office and flipped one of the Republican strongholds in Gwinnett County, which is one of the fastest growing counties and most diverse in Georgia. So we really we're blue in Gwinnett. The rest of Georgia just needs to catch up. Of course, Fulton County is bluish too. So how did I get into politics? It was a trick. Michelle Obama tricked me when her husband was leaving office and she said, if you're not going to run, get behind people. I am Nigerian, so I'm super spicy, but just by nature. I'm like, I can't be in the front because my mouth will get me in trouble. So let me get behind some people. And I started reading and learning, took part in some classes that the local Democratic campaign had offered on how to do campaigning, which is really important, how to do financing, how to help people fundraise, how to do calling, all that stuff that our community traditionally does not know. Went to a couple of events, met Stacey Abrams, connected with some other people, and me and some aunties formed our first PAC here, Nigerian Women for Progress, where we used that PAC to do voter engagement in the African community here in Georgia, just to teach the overall community how to learn how to vote, how to register to vote. What does it mean to do that? And things that I think as Americans, we take that for granted that people from our place would know that, and they generally don't. So we use that platform to help get elected progressive people that are running for office and support generally our African and Caribbean brothers and sisters here in Georgia, period. So that's how I got into doing elections and politics. It was not by choice. It was accidental. One of my first campaigns that I worked on was Representative Oye Olaluya there in DC. So he's a good friend of mine and just had a whirlwind of that, but definitely believe in educating our communities, getting everybody out together, and just working with us on how to be more united, working with our Caribbean brothers and sisters and African American brothers and sisters on just understanding more. A lot of things here in America are hidden in books. We know a lot of people don't want to read everything. If it's not on TikTok and Insta right there in front of your face, people will just ignore it. So just teaching people how to read and understand the Constitution, the amendments, how it impacts them, local laws. That's what I'm doing. And so what I'm doing every week now is canvassing, door knocking, and canvassing, phone banking up until next week. I think I have myself signed up for everything. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Next.
Fuad, do you see any other, because not everybody has their cameras on, do you see any other?
You know who I like to bring on is Brother Clarence on? Clarence.
Yeah, no, he's coming. I just wanted to make sure that our committee members have all gone on before Clarence comes on.
I think Mahani is out there somewhere.
Mahani's there. I'm not sure if she's on.
Where is she? Mahani, you here?
Hi, yeah, I'm here. I just was not able to turn my camera on, which is fine.
I like to hear your voice, Mahani.
I appreciate that, Dr. Sharif. So I started this journey primarily because I work in the healthcare space. I run an organization in the healthcare space, and COVID-19 pandemic, that period was probably one of the most difficult and challenging times of my career. And I've been working in the healthcare space. I'm a registered nurse by trade for many, many years, right? And so a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was not only taking care of patients and residents, but also taking care of employees, which was not the issue. The issue was just all the disinformation that I had to literally fight against on a day-to-day basis to ensure that my employees, coupled with my residents, patients, were safe. And I did not anticipate that I would be here again with this man potentially, not only running, but still having, quote unquote, a close race. So as soon as Kamala came out and said she's going to put her name in the hat, at that point, I was all in. And so I haven't really engaged on a political level of this nature. I am definitely more on a community level. My parents are involved in the community, so that just comes naturally for me. But on this level, no. But I have enjoyed the experience. It has opened my eyes. Last week was definitely, I've never canvassed before. So that was definitely an eye-opener and a wonderful experience. So I say this to say, I started this journey off in a very selfish manner because I definitely do not want Trump as a president ever again. But during that time, of course, gained a lot of perspective in this process, the importance of community outside of just your surroundings and environment, and which is what I really appreciate with this forum. So thank you all very much. Of course, to our leadership, Dr. Sharif, Fatmata, Chris Ferd, thank you for the technology. Ike, of course, for the t-shirts. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And I do have to say just the consistency, because let's be honest, it's hard to be consistent, right? When you start something, the consistency is just remarkable. So kudos to all of you, kudos to all of us. And, hopefully I'm praying. I mean, I'm fully engaged. I'm bought in. I'm here. And let's just see what we can do to take this to the next level and continue to engage and be consistent. So thanks again. And I hopefully get to see most of you on next week, Tuesday, when we win, because when we fight, we win.
And thank you to Maureen for those meeting minutes.
Okay.
Those meeting
Maureen,
minutes.
thank you.
Okay. Listen.
Talk about precision.
she's a queen bee when it comes to that.
She's like
Meeting
an
is over, all of
AI.
a sudden the thing pop up. How in the world?
She's like, I think Maureen is using AI. She's like an AI. Those minutes come out like in 30 seconds. Like, what?
All right, so I think the planning committee folks have all spoken. So we wanted to give the mic over to our brother, Clarence, from Africans for Harris, our sister group. This just evidence of the fact that we can and we have been able to work together and collaborate in so many ways. It was so amazing to finally meet in person last weekend in PA, and it was beautiful. And and I had he spoke German with my partner because they speak German. So that was nice.
Yes.
I think I just watching them talk. But I want to introduce y'all, Clarence. So we are talking about people getting into this thing. The last mobilizing meeting, not the last meeting, but the last mobilizing call for the Harris-Walz ticket. And just to get your little feedback.
Yeah, sure. Good evening, everyone, and thanks again for having me. It's always a pleasure being on this call, and what a lineup we had tonight. And it's like everyone, I think I'm tired, you come with a call, you get energized again, you keep going. So like Falmata shared, Clarence is my name, Clarence Dangam. I did a similar group called Africans for Harris, which I also founded. It's about coming to almost 95 days now. Simply out of the inspiration that why firstly comes from again, just couldn't take it anymore. And then I think when the Harris campaign came on, we're all excited, and I kept contributing and wondering what else could I do? What could I do? And then I just got inspired by the African proverb that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I kept thinking about maybe just get some African brothers, sisters together. Let's start trying to see whether I can do something. I think unlike many on the group, I have never done anything in politics, never in my life. So this was me saying, you know what, you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Just try something. So I created this WhatsApp group with the goal of getting to 100 people. And if we knew it, it went viral. We grew to 1,000. Now we're at 2,000 plus, and it just kept growing, right? So it was really an inspiration for me. Just seeing people from across the continent, from north to south, Kenya to Uganda to South Africa, Liberia, Cameroon, Nigeria, Ghana, across California to New York, just across the whole place, right? With that one shared goal of electing VP Kamala Harris to the office. So I think that shared goal really let us come together as Africans, which we all know from where we come from, it's not always easy for us to agree on many things. But at least we could find one thing which brings us together. And this election has been really, really inspiring for me personally. I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. It's hard to believe it's 100 days because it feels like it's like 10 years I've been campaigning. I don't know if people do this for years and do it all over again. I can't wait for this to be over transparently. It is a lot of work, but it's good work, you know. But my personal experience has been, I don't know what else. Somebody told me, do you know what you're signing up to? I said, I have no idea, but we'll see. But yes, it's been worth it. It's one of those things where you do it and you can look back and say it was worth it. Regardless of how the elections come out, check out, which I know it was checked out positively. It was definitely a great experience. I'm very fortunate personally because in addition to the group which I lead, I've also found a home in this group. I feel like I'm family here as well with this group. I can relate as well to the family members here, so I learn a lot with the same team. Like Fatmata shared, my first ever canvassing experience was last Saturday in Pennsylvania, and I got to meet Fatmata, so that was amazing. Not to knock on doors. I have never knocked on doors before. So it was quite an experience with everything which comes with it, from do not trespass to someone doesn't talk to you, went to some really good conversations. So I had all the 360 experience there. So it was really a very good event. I think all has been said tonight. I wouldn't repeat every single thing. I think we all know why we came together. I think let's close now strong. I think that's the key to really bring this home. There's still work to be done, phone banking, getting people out to vote, work to be done. So this is not the end of the process. But certainly, I'm looking forward to, after the elections, how we can keep coming together as Africans to really have something for Africans and build something together for Africans. And I think that everything that we've begun together individually, collectively, with the separate groups, I think the key is that let's come together after the elections and see how we can begin to find ways and policies and things that we can advocate. Because it's not just enough to elect people to office, which is critical. It's also important that they do something which helps our community here and back home as well. And it's my hope and wish that after the election, we can have some good conversations and diverge, but eventually converge on some key areas that can help move things forward for the continent. So really again, good having everyone. Good to see everyone. Thank you all so much, and to be going. Thank you.
Nice. All right. We have one of our elected officials from Portland who is still on the call with us, and he's been here from the beginning with us, and he has stuck with us. Councilmember Pius Ali, would love for you to say a couple of words, if you may.
Thank you very much for putting this group together and for all the work that you did to continue to work with everyone. I think when you called me and you said you're going to put this group together, I was like, okay, let's do it. And lo and behold, not only did you do it, you found Africans from wherever we are, and then you brought us together, and even beyond, because there are some people who have joined us who are not Africans. They just happen to be Black immigrants from somewhere else, and our cousins who are African Americans. What I would say is, as somebody who first got elected in 2013, there was no home. And I think it was through my journey as an elected person that I met you in some of my coming to DC to be part of something that have Africans. And now look at us. At a point, there were like thousand people on this call, the first call that you put together. And I hope that after this election, we don't just walk away and turn into pumpkins. I know some people have talked about how do we call it, getting elected, working to make sure that issues at the local level we should be involved in issues on local level. What I will add to that is, if you get people elected, it doesn't matter whether they are people from our community or they are people from the community at large, don't just walk away and leave them in office. Hold them accountable and give them the support that they need to do the work that you elected them to do. That is the only thing that I will add to everything that everyone have said. And this is also a good opportunity for us as Africans to not only to advocate, but to push for issues and policies at national level that will impact our brothers and sisters back home. Because if anything at all, we have shown that we have the ability, we have the capacity, and we have the people, and our numbers keeps growing. And we are going to be one of the forces to be reckoned with in this country. But we need to organize ourselves, because if we don't, and the movement gets here, we're not going to be able to do it. So all of you, thank you for spending your time Wednesday after Wednesday after Wednesday, coming back here and having this conversation. Let's continue to do this. Even after the election, it doesn't matter who wins. I know we are going to win. And someone said that those of you that will find yourself with the government, we're going to come after you. Don't shut the door at us. Let's continue to work and support each other and move each other forward, and then center the issues that impact Africans here and back home at the middle of everything that we do. So thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to join you whenever I'm available.
Thank you, Council Fayosali. I mean, if I may, I would like to probably, what I see that's different this time around. I remember in 2008, we love Obama so much that we sign off our substitute judgment to him, meaning that he knows exactly what we want, and he's going to do it for Africans in the diaspora as well as the continent. But I reassure you this time around, we are going to hold Harris-Walz accountable in respect to what are the things that is important to Africans in the diaspora as well as the continent. And we're not going to bestow substitute judgment on her. We have to make sure we get involved to make sure that we set the agenda. We can't wait for her to set the agenda for us. We have to set the agenda, and I definitely believe we are going to the next step, because I've seen Africans from all over the continent here and all over in the States within the U.S. And I like what X says, that his village is Nigeria and his country is Africa. I feel the same way. My village is Sierra Leone and my country is Africa, because I'm a student of Pan-Africanism. I don't consider myself Sierra Leonean. I consider myself African first. So this is a new beginning for me, and I see this and all the people that we've engaged over the years, over the months here. So it's been, I am grateful and glad that we've had this opportunity to amplify our wishes.
Okay, my people. I am so full of hope, full of pride, full of joy, and full of energy. I was so tired today. Very tired this whole week. Could not go to DC to see my president. I've claimed it. She's my president. Could not go. I was grateful that I made it in Chicago for the convention, so I didn't feel as bad, but I know I would have probably been depressed if I'd not at least seen her one time. But right now I feel very, very good. And the fact that we have us here, and I keep hearing people saying, I've never canvassed before until last Saturday. I've never canvassed before. I mean, the feeling in hearing that, knowing that it's because of what we have done here as a group, as a people, and the effort we have put forward to make this happen. I'm so happy. And I'm so full of seeing the new beginning at the end of all this. So for anyone who's listening, this is not the last time you will hear from us. Expect it to look different, but we are not going away. The purpose of this group was not just for Harris or Harris-Walz, is for us. And as a result, we will be making a pivot after Tuesday. But for now, all our attention is on Tuesday.
We are not going
5
back.
days. Yes, we're not going back on Tuesday. That's where we are. Our mind and our heart and our work is on Tuesday. So anything at all that you can do, whether you have time this weekend to go to Pennsylvania, they really need people in PA. That is the place, that is the battleground, because that is the road to 270 for us. So if you have any time at all, please, 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 let's go to Pennsylvania this weekend. If you have Saturday, there are places you can join. Sunday, may want to be able to lead one on Sunday if we have enough people. So please, if you can make it, that would be fantastic. But there's phone banking, okay? There's phone banking, there's friend banking, where you call your family members, you call your friends, you tell them to go vote, especially if you have family in the swing states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, these places, Georgia. If you have family in those places, contact them, friends, contact them, your schoolmates from way back when. Be like, you haven't heard from me in 20 years, but girl, listen, right? Come out and vote because we need this. We cannot have this man in office. We can't. It's not a hyperbole, right? You've seen what him and his cohorts have said, have done, have promised to do. Believe them, as Maya Angelou has said. Believe them when they tell you and they show you. So, next steps. 5 days. You will be getting emails. You usually don't send emails every day, but you might be getting emails every day between now and Tuesday. And you'll probably be getting a lot of social media posts between now and Tuesday, encouraging and pushing with links and asks and begs. So when you see it, imagine I'm on my knees begging you. And we're all on our knees begging you. And I want to say thank you to everyone who has put in so much effort to make this thing work, to those who had reservations but stayed the course. And here we are now. And I am so grateful to all of you because this would not have been possible. People can come up with as many ideas as they want. One person cannot do it. Just can't, right? It needs all of us. And we're going to make it happen. We're going to uplift ourselves and make your life better for our children and our children's children. And I look forward to that. So thank you. Thank you, Fuad, for saying yes without questions.
Thank you. I know we have some of our guests that's been here. This is an open dialogue. If you want to share a story, you want to say something to us, or say something about what you're doing locally, just raise your hands up. I'm sure Chris is still here. He hasn't fallen asleep yet. Chris, you call your name and you could speak. The floor is yours. Who's going to go first?
I can go.
Oh, Brother Shillam.
Yes,
from
sir.
the great state of Georgia. Let's hear
Good
what you
evening,
have to say.
everyone. Yes,
I
sir.
know you've been driving people. You've been giving rights to the poll. Let's hear about that.
Yes, I have. And thank you so much. I want to thank all of you, Madam Barry and Dr. Bull. Oh my God. I have always been using that inspirational quote. If you are not on the table, you are on the menu. I love that. And I've been saying that all the time. And to you, Dr. Fuad, thanks a million for your exemplary leadership. I always say to you that when I grow up, I want to be just like you, because I just want to emulate all your leadership acumen that you have. And it's also because of you that I have been fully engaged in this year's political arena. The last time I was there, but not as much as now, because when I joined this group and I saw what the African for Diaspora for Harris are doing, it gives me the ultimate zeal to go out there and do my best to make sure that Kamala Harris becomes the 47th president of these United States of America. So I want to give you guys all the kudos, because if it was not for this group, I probably would not have done this much. Just like Dr. Sharif said, for the past week, I have been driving voters to the polls, and I enjoy doing that because I am a retiree. And what a good way to use my time to take people to the polls and vote. And I know all those that I have been taking so far, based on the research that I've been doing, I know they are all going to vote for Kamala Harris. And I just want to say that this is a very good venture for all of us that have participated on a venture like this, because it gives us the true meaning of teamwork. When we all come together, we win, which is true. And teamwork definitely makes the dream work. And in the words of Henry Ford, if you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you're also right. So I believe we think we can. I believe we have done our best. I believe Kamala Harris is going to be the next president of this United States of America. And I am happy, amen. And I'm happy to be part and parcel of this wonderful group, because all of you, Dr. Bull, Madam Fatmata, and Dr. Said, you have exemplified the true meaning of what it means to be leaders. And you have led this group to the point where most of all of us are very happy, extremely happy to be a part and parcel of this group. And I'm sure that at the end of the day, after Tuesday, I hope we will continue this journey where we can meet once in a while and meditate and put our thoughts together and do something for the benefit of Africa. Because when we do that, I'm sure at the end of the day, we're all gonna win. So in closing, let me say I am extremely happy. I am extremely proud to be an African and to be a part of this marvelous group that has been doing so much since July up to this time. It's hard to see the strength of Africans coming together as strong as we are, but with this group, I am proud to say I am an African. I am proud to say I did my best, and my children will know that we did our best to ensure that Kamala Harris becomes the first female African American to be the president of this United States, because getting Donald Trump is not an option. And we are all going to be celebrating after November 5 and praise the Lord for what he has done for us. Thank you so much, guys. May God bless you all.
Thank you, Brother Chillum. If you guys may allow me, there's a young man here that raised his hand. Dr. Nuni, possibly in his 80s, almost in the 80s. He stays up late. When I'm bored, when I'm in Maryland, this is the person I usually go to so we can sit and talk politics. Dr. Nuni, are you on? Dr. Onuni, are you on? You could unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
go ahead, Dr.
Yes,
Lee.
good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would say it's a pleasure to be part of this group. I do, and to listen to the discussions that come up every Wednesday when I'm present to listen. In the first place, I want to say thank you to Dr. Fuad Sharif, who invited me, and together with Attorney Fatmata Barry, that I've known for so many years in Sierra Leone community activities. And what can I say? Well, in the first place, I want to again say thank you to this group for the time they took to get to Pennsylvania. I've seen them on 2 occasions in photographs, one in York, and I think the second one was in Allentown or somewhere else. And I think to take your time off to do that is indeed praiseworthy. I always think one problem that has put us backward politically in this country is that we do not only love the country where we live, but we love our country much more, to the point that we do forget that we are in a strange country where we can also do well. I think one of the mistakes we make is when we come over here, we work very hard. We try to work very hard and get education, get a job. And when we get the job, even when we buy the first brand new car, we tell our relatives or friends, well, this is the car I'm taking home to my country. Okay, so we have no plan of staying here, because if you have plans of staying, you will not only live in your own community, but you go outside your community. And going outside your community means you have to be involved politically. Without being involved in politics, you would not do well, and you will not represent your people well. You will not lobby to do something for your people if you stay out of politics. So for those, especially the younger ones that have joined this group, I hope they will be incentivized to get involved in politics. I know Attorney Barry Padmatan was involved in elected office. She lives in Montgomery County, and I live in PG County. I think this is about the second time I've said this, that even living in PG County and she vying for a position in Montgomery County would always make me campaign for her amongst those that I know in Montgomery County, because I wanted her to get into political office where she can help our people more than being a great person at home and not doing what she has to do over here. So in short, I want to say thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sharif. Thank you, Fatmata, for inviting me to this group. And the participation has been very good. I mean, your participation has been excellent. And I think even as a retired old man, I think I have learned a lot from it, and I will continue to support whatever you do. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So who's next? Do I see any hands up at all? Anyone would like to share their thoughts? And it's a Kathy that raised your hand. So go ahead, Kathy. Kathy, you can proceed. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good evening. I was talking to myself. I didn't realize I was muted. Sorry
okay.
about that.
It's okay.
Attorney Fatmata, doctors, everybody on the platform, it's a pleasure. I personally have been volunteering for every presidential campaign since Clinton Gore 1992. I'm a US citizen. I've been here 40 years and I've been the president of the Cameroon community. And immediately my girlfriend told me about it from California. I signed up. So I've been on since July. I have been listening to everything every time, and I have run everything, Obamacare, and all of it. So I'm really excited with Africans in diaspora for Kamala Harris, and I know she's going to win. I made the mistake of not voting, not running for campaigning for Mrs. Clinton, but we went knocking doors, everything through the whole campaign. And on the day of the elections, I sat down and watched on television, and I almost had a heart attack when she won the general elections, but then lost at the end. I was so flabbergasted, but guess what? I believe sincerely that Ms. Harris is gonna win with Tim Walz. So it's a pleasure.
Thank
My
you.
friends call me Lady K attendant for Kathy. K is for Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lady K.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good. Is that Mr. Doe? Your hands are up. Let's hear from you, sir.
All right. My name is Arthur Doe. I live in the Maryland area. I've been here for the past 26 years, and I've been involved into the politics of the U.S. And in fact, I rose to the position of the second man in charge of our precinct in Gettysburg. And since then, I've been involved, but I was mostly involved in Obama elections. And I went to Colorado when Colorado was in question. We traveled to Colorado to knock on doors, and we made our marks. Unfortunately, during the inauguration, I did not attend because probably I was kind of down. I was sick because of all the running around that we did. Nevertheless, as a registered Democrat, we thought it expedient that it is our call to be out there to support knock on doors and register and try to convince people, citizens who are of eligible voters for within the borders of the United States. But I must give this particular team a credit, and I must give Kamala, the vice president, a credit. Can you imagine? In less time, she was talking about a close call, a close campaign. In less time, July, it is unprecedented, and every one of you who have rallied and continue to rally around the elections, every one of us, we should give ourselves kudos and the marks that we have made within the shortest period of time. It is unprecedented, and we should give ourselves a pat on the back. And this thing is clear. The choice is very clear. It's clear. And let's stick to our choice, Harris and Walz. And Harris will be the first female president. It was predicted long since. We've been watching videotapes here and there, and we've been listening to stories about a female president. Like our country, the first female president, Madam Johnson Sirleaf, historically, during the past, we would never have a female president in Liberia, in Africa as a whole. But this chapter in American history is about to change. And I must tell you that we're going to be sleeping out. We'll be out from the day throughout when our last call is made. That the first female president of the United States of America, Kamala Harris, has won in the elections. Thank you so much for this organization. And as the Dr. Board said, we should not sit, we should not relent. There is the time for us to rally around each other as African diaspora to making sure that we push the agenda and only being advocates or sitting at the table so that at least we can address some of these issues that confront us here in the U.S. diaspora. And I thank you and I praise you and I bless, and that indeed Kamala Harris and Walz will become the president and vice president on Wednesday morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother Doe. Thank you so much. Anyone want to share their perspective? We still have about 51 people on. We got another 13 minutes to go. Chris or Fatmata or Ike or anyone else here? Anyone has something to share?
I see Mr. Guy Williams is on with us. Do you want to come off mute, Denton, and talk to us about your why? Oh, here's Maria.
I see a hand up.
Yeah, Marie. Go on, Marie.
Yes.
Go ahead, Marie.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Marie. Yeah, I'm still going to introduce myself. I'm from Cameroon, and how I found myself in politics is that I'm from one of the most political region in Cameroon. So I was born in politics. I grew up in politics. I wasn't a politician, but politics was part of my life until now, even out of the country. So when I got here, I was happy to share my experience when President Obama came to power, and I'm Obama alumni. You know, I work as a supporter. So you guys can send a message to him that on my behalf that we hear them, him and Michelle. How they call us to go and support Kamala. And we promised him to do exactly what we did to support him, to bring him to power. So we have been very busy on the ground, working hard, doing exactly what we did. So we say thank you to this group too. I say thank you myself because you guys brought me to this. I didn't know how I got into it. I was just, that was my best place to be as a, part of political family somewhere in the world. So, so I enjoy being, every time online with you, and you guys are doing a wonderful job. Saying thank you too to the Democratic Party, because we were proud of Obama. We are still proud today because without the Democratic Party, we couldn't have a Black president in this country. So so that's the reason why some of us, we stick in this party and we still enjoy being part of it. We are proud and we really feel at home in this party. Now, last but not least, thank you to Kamala, because yesterday I went to DC. I was part of the rally, and she made me proud. Everything I expected, I got it. I wasn't disappointed, because I'm not only her supporter, I'm also her fan, as a woman in power, a dream. So she is my reference. You know how fans are. We watch her, everything she does count for us. How she move around, how she express herself, how she dress. Everything yesterday, we were very happy, I was satisfied. And from the beginning till yesterday, I'm positive, and I started to see her from the first day till yesterday, till today. I'm sure she's going to be our new president, the next president in this country. And we promise her, we keep working. This weekend, we are going to Pennsylvania because we have a big community there, a big African community there. So, and Georgia and other states, we are coming this weekend all over the state, and, to call families, to call friends, to do more, and to make sure Wednesday morning, after Tuesday, we have Kamala elected as the 47th president in this country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you. I believe Edith, are you on? Unmute yourself, please.
Good evening, everyone. This is Edith Iziani. I'm in Silver Spring, Maryland, and I have been part of this group since we started in July. I appreciate everyone and what has been done so far. Just like Marie and a lot of other ones, we were very much involved during Obama's time and ended up with the Legacy Conference before the inauguration. These last few days before the election is very important. I see that a lot of people still have questions, and this is the time to go out and talk to people. Whether we call them on the phone, email, or text, Africans now use the WhatsApp. It's still a good time to say a lot of things to convince people. I noticed that mostly our African men have reservations a little bit, and their reasons are always towards abortion or gay, lesbian kind of thing. They are neglecting a whole lot of other issues. And I can relate to what I'm Catholic also, what the Pope said. You don't vote only on one issue or one topic. So when you're talking to African men, including yesterday when we had some people over at home, it was that issue of abortion and then gay, lesbian thing. But then my argument, it turned into an argument, which was powerful, I would say. When you're telling people that you are anti-abortion, but then you turn around and support somebody is in jail and for some reason he has to be killed, and you support that, and you're doing a whole lot of things that are worse than abortion. When you can come and say to people, oh, you shouldn't be in this country because you're illegal, or you separate. Look at what happened to the little children that were separated from their families when Trump was around the other time. A lot of them will never know who their mom or dad is. So lives were just destroyed. And he doesn't even feel any single pain for what he did. But as a parent, I'm thinking about it. Imagine losing your child. The kids maybe would not react the way the parents would react. But imagine losing your child and you have no way of locating that child again. So we don't even know the extent of what he did, the ramifications of that, but sometimes you can imagine. So I'm saying it to all of you guys, the men on the platform and beyond the platform. These few days is when we have to win a lot of our people over that can still vote. That action can make a huge difference to sway those that are still, oh, I'm not gonna vote. This is the time to vote. There is no reason why this man, a felon, not just because he's a felon, for what he stands for, there is no reason why he should be the president of this country. And if it takes our group to go beyond what we are doing, we should do it. So I applaud everyone for us coming together. It shouldn't end with what we are doing. It continues and is going to make an impression in the future, in the lives of our children, our grandchildren. So let's continue what we are doing. Thank you to Fatmata. I'm in Silver Spring also, Dr. Fuad and the rest of us, from different states. We are still one. It's not about me being Nigerian, you being Cameroonian. Or I consider everyone the same. And if we continue to put our hands together, it's going to affect not just us politically, but the lives of our children. Because a lot of our children are going astray by what is happening in this country. Not because they want to go astray, but because no one is they are not being well directed. And we can do a whole lot from this group. So thank you to everyone. And next week, Tuesday, hopefully, we begin to celebrate because God willing, it is Kamala. We have no business with Trump. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Edith. I believe we have, is it Echo? Tabitha is the next person with their hands up.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. I want to thank my brother Ike for inviting me to this group. I wish I was more engaged, but that notwithstanding, I'm really privileged to be here and very grateful for this unique opportunity to see our brothers and sisters from the diaspora get together to ensure that they set a template for the future where we're going to have diasporans more engaged in a political process in the United States. Well, gone are the days when diasporans would sit on the sidelines and believe that this is not our thing, that the electoral process in America is all about others. And then we're going to sit on the sidelines and, complain about the way the country moves and then look at things from a myopic perspective. It was really great and enlightening to watch the congressmen speak and to watch all those who put this platform together, and I've been running things for quite a while, to watch how the level of professionalism and the way you got everybody engaged is really quite refreshing. I am from Cameroon, and I've been listening to the input of everyone for the past couple of hours or so. I want to agree with the previous speaker that there is some level of hesitation from men and from Africa, but there's a way I engage folks out there in the community. And one thing I say is that this electoral process is not just about a few things like it's not just about what is alien as we might conceive or look at to be. It's not just about what is alien to our culture or to our beliefs or the way we see things. This electoral process is about more than that. It's about immigration reform. It's about a lot more things that we have in common with Kamala Harris and those who are running for office. It was really refreshing to hear Congressman Raskin speak because I've followed his position on several issues for such a long time, and he has a very strong inclination towards what would benefit Africa. I do believe that he's going to play an important role in the Kamala Harris government, even as a congressman. I also believe that there are many things that we can do as diasporans to get more people engaged in this in the next few days, 5 days before the election. things like, getting people more engaged in social media like WhatsApp, because like WhatsApp groups, you have many community groups which are very vibrant. For example, you can get in touch with somebody on a platform. Some of the platforms and WhatsApp platforms, we have about 500 to 1,000 members, and putting out a message there is going to make a whole difference. And also trying to clarify and trying to dissuade people from having a mindset, which I'm not going to say is a narrow mindset, but I'm going to say I'm focusing on a few things which might not have an overall impact on the election, and by focusing more on those things which we have in common. Because if you say that we should talk to people and get people engaged, we need to be more broad on that, and let people understand that we can talk about this. Yes, you have the right to believe that Jesus doesn't move. It doesn't tie with your culture and the way you see things, But on the other hand, these are 99 reasons why. It's 99 reasons why you should vote for Kamala Harris. And these are 99 reasons why we should encourage ourselves to do the right thing as far as our interests are concerned. Getting diasporans involved in this process is about interest. It's also about seeing that certain things align with us, and we have more things which align with our interest than a few things which do not. There is no political party which has all the answers to our questions, but they have. But as far as this election is concerned, we are very much aware of where we are going to. We're very much aware of what is at stake. We're very much aware of what we need to do to keep Trump, ensure that Trump is not there at all. Anybody knows that these policies do not favor us. These are the type of things which will move diasporans more, especially the men, as was just to the previous speaker. So was trying to make mention to. So I really thank you all for this opportunity. As someone mentioned prior, a couple of people mentioned that prior. I hope this will not be the end of it. I hope this will be an opportunity to enlighten us more, to get us more engaged, even after the elections, irrespective of outcome. But I'm very positive that Kamala Harris is going to take this home, and I'm very positive that with this input and this impact that we are having right now on this platform, it's going to translate, to other platforms, and it's going to translate out in Pennsylvania and to other places. Thank you very much, and I hope that we'll be energized in this last week of the election.
Well, thank you so much. I believe we're going to take one last one. It's 11 o'clock now. Madam Gloria, please be brief. It's 11 o'clock. Let's hear what you have to say, then we'll close out. Go ahead, Madam.
Thank you very much, moderator. I really appreciate. I'm not going to waste time and I just want to appreciate what is going on. It's one of my few times that I've linked up with this group, and I got the group on another platform, like last speaker just said. We have a lot of platform, and I thank you that this link just popped up on that platform, and I have opportunity to be part of it. It's amazing that everybody's working towards one goal, and we pray that that goal, that we will never go back, will continue to be forward. I appreciate, even I live in New York, and we still move to Pennsylvania for the same cause. Everybody's using Pennsylvania as the yardstick. As we speak on this platform, as we speak, I'm watching the children, young people in Madison, Wisconsin right now. Maybe they did it earlier, but I'm just watching, and I see a lot of enthusiasm with even the young ones. Everybody I'm seeing there, very few old people. Most of the people on that stage are young people, and that is the future that we all believe in. So I thank you very much. I appreciate this group. I didn't know about it, like everybody says, some new, but I hope from now on we'll move beyond this point. Thank you. Appreciate. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Madam. Well, Africans in the diaspora, it's been a journey, a blessing. without a doubt, we've heard what everyone has said. This is not the last time. We have our matching orders. We know what we need to do for those who haven't voted. I think this is a time. I think Africans in the diaspora, we're ready to take this to the next level and do everything we can to make sure Madam Harris become the next president. And after that, we're going to hold her accountable for the things that's important to Africans in the diaspora and the things that's important to our continent. We have to hold her accountable. So without a doubt, this is not the last time you guys going to hear from us. Please, let's stay in touch, and let's continue to be hopeful, and we are thankful for everyone that's been part of this journey. It's been a blessing. I personally have learned a lot. I've met new friends, new brothers and sisters doing this journey. So it's been a blessing. And I'm going to use what Ike says again. Sierra Leone is my village. Africa is my country. So we're all brothers and sisters. And I think this is the time for us to take it to the next level. So God bless and thank you. And good luck to all of us, and good luck to Harris.
Yes, yes, yes.
Good luck. Thank you.
Good night,
guys.
everyone.
Love you guys.
Don't forget, look out for emails. You're going to be getting emails and messages, and we need you all to get engaged. All right?
Good night,
everybody.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Continue
Bye.
to the very
Bye.
end. It's not over.
Take a look at this T-shirt. We're gonna bring it out. Africans in the
Oh, it's a
Yes.
lovely
I
one.
know Chris don't like it.
We should.
Hey, how much is the t-shirt, sir? Can you put a price on it?
I almost forgot. People, I'm sorry. And I was reminded too. So we've raised $26,651.51.
But how many people donated?
355 bundle. They call it bundle. So some people may have donated more than once.
Yes. Well, this is a start. This is a start.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a start, without a doubt. I am proud of collective effort. Without a doubt, this is just inspirational.
Pregnant women.
Yep. Christopher, get your T-shirt.
I'm getting one, man.
Maini, I'm gonna get your T-shirt soon.
Yes, I'm ready. Let me know when it's ready.
Definitely. A couple of days, it'll be ready.
And I need one too.
All right, brother Sheila.
What I need one, okay?
Dr. Looney, go to bed.
Okay, we will reach out to Ike to get the T-shirt. Thank you all.
No problem, guys. Thank you, guys.
Good night,
All right,
everyone. Bye-bye.
Yeah.